guys, so today I'm back to talk about the fourth Fast and Furious film called Fast and Furious, which is a bit confusing, but anyway. Yeah, this one, it was fine. It didn't blow me away, it didn't have anything particularly sort of mind-blowing in it. I'd probably say it was the weakest one so far. Still a fair amount to talk about though. A lot happened in regards to sort of the next films. A lot of plot points happened that all, come into play in it. A lot happens in it though, so let's get on and talk about what happens in Fast and Furious 4. I guess the first big thing that happens in this film, spoilers if you've not seen it because it's a big plot point, Letty dies, she gets murdered, which is kind of the thing that sets the story in motion. In this, so Dom is on the run because in the first film Brian lets him escape from the police. We're now back to see what he's up to, and they fled America and they're stealing oil from big oil tycoons. And he realises that the police are onto them, so he has to let everybody go and run away. And like I say, and then he finds out Letty's been murdered, which brings him back to America to find out what's happened. Whereas Brian is also out hunting drug dealers and drug cartels, and their stories kind of collide and it brings them back together. The main sort of story of this is that it's Brian and Dom teaming up, and they're both trying trying to avenge Letty's death as well as stop this drug cartel from stealing, I think it's $60 million worth of money, and stopping them getting across the border again. This one is there's not really much to say because, like I say, stuff happens in it, but there's nothing really kind of stand out in it, which is a bit of a shame because, you know, 2 was really good and 3 was okay. And this one I think is the first real low point of the franchise. With Letty dead, we also need a new female companion. So we get a lady called Giselle, I think that was her name, who's played by Gal Gadot, which is really weird because I completely forgot she's even in these films. I knew she was in it, or one of them, but I forgot she's kind of actually becomes like a bit of a main character in them, which is really weird to see her in this. But she was good in it, they were all good, and you know, this one is, I think, is set before Tokyo Drift, because they sort of allude to it at the end, that Han is planning on going to Tokyo, because he's actually in this film. So judging by that, I assume that means this one is before Tokyo Drift, and maybe that's the last one, I'm not too sure where it goes in the timeline, we'll have to sort of work it out. Good to see him back. Like I say in the last review, I did enjoy him in Tokyo Drift, and he's again really good in this one still. And their team in this is quite good as well. The stunts in this, I mean, they do a few, but there's nothing really mind-blowing stunt-wise in this film. They're kind of, the ending is just kind of like a chase. They kind of catch the man escapes and they chase him down a motorway. It's not really that exciting, I've got to be honest, with a finale compared to the other films. Even the first film, you know, I slated Tokyo Drift's ending, but this one was even worse, I think. I was hoping for something a bit more exciting and exhilarating, but it just wasn't there. So like I've said, there's not really a lot to say on this one, because it feels like not a lot happens. It's sort of, the ending of it is that Dom gets sentenced to 25 years in prison, and they sort of allude at the end, because you see him getting shipped off to the prison, they sort of allude to the fact that the other drivers to Brian and Mia and the Han are there to kind of break him out of prison, I guess. Maybe that's what's going to happen in the 5th one, I'm not really too sure, but yeah, it sort of ends, and obviously clearly they're going to get him out of prison because he's in the next film. But you don't actually see it, it's almost like a to be continued, which I guess is a good way to get you to watch the next films. But yeah, I don't know what it was, this one just felt like it was missing something. It just felt a bit boring and generic, and you know, it was nice to see Dom and Brian back together in this one, but it just lacked a bit of something that the others had. You know, I don't know, it just didn't really do it for me. So overall thoughts on this one, it was fine. It was definitely the weakest in the franchise so far. The ranking still, because I realised I forgot to give Tokyo Drift an actual score, I'd probably give Tokyo Drift about a 6.5 out of 10. This one I'd probably give it about a 5, maybe 4.5. It just really there's some interesting action scenes in it, but it just really was missing something that the others have, and I just can't quite put my finger on it. It just wasn't quite as exciting. It didn't really have a big stunt at the end like the others did. You know, their equivalent of a stunt was sort of just driving through all these underground tunnels, and it was a bit exciting, but it just was missing, I don't know, it just didn't really have much of a personality, I guess. But yeah, so the ranking would probably go 2, 3, 1, 4 in terms of the ones that are the best at the moment. This one, like I say, I'd probably give it about 4.5, 5 out of 10. It just didn't have it. So that's my review of Fast and Furious, the 4th film in the series. Next I've got Fast 5 to watch, which I've heard is the best one. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that after this one that wasn't so good, we get a really, really good film. I've heard this is where the franchise gets kind of really good, and they go a bit more like balls to the wall in the action department, and it gets really, really exciting. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see. We'll see in the next review. So that was my review of this one, and I will see you next time. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye!